Podcasting from their dining room table in West Hollywood, California,
it's the Stonebergs with Dave Stone.
What can I say? I'm a man of very stupid principles, okay?
And Katie Strandberg.
My brain needs help.
Advice and encouragement from two goofballs who can barely run their own lives.
Call now at 213-282-3615 to be part of the show.
Now welcome the Stonebergs.
Feel that flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
See where it takes you.
Yeah.
Ride the wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen up.
Thank you.
Good job, Boo.
Thank you very much.
What's popping off?
Hello.
How about you?
Oh, I'm just swimming.
Oh, yeah?
Swimming.
What you swimming in?
Swimming in fun.
Uh-huh.
And a fiesta.
Okay.
Why not? How the hoot are you, Boo?
I'm okay.
Oh, what's wrong?
Just got back from the optometrist.
Right.
I have a hole in my eye.
What? What?
He said I have a hole in my eye.
Okay, that's not true.
I told
that
him,
can't be.
I said, I don't know about that. I do have a hole in my butt.
Oh, did you say it?
No.
Oh, that would have been great.
Should have. But yeah, apparently I have a hole in my eye.
Okay, how did that happen?
Well, he asked if I'd ever had any head trauma. I've had a few concussions.
How many?
3 confirmed.
What do you mean confirmed?
3 that a doctor has identified.
Okay, so but have you noticed are there others?
I mean, there could be the occasional concussion here or there. Who amongst us hasn't picked up a random undiagnosed concussion?
I haven't.
But no, seriously, he said sometimes with head trauma and stuff, he explained how it happens, and it hasn't affected my vision up to this point, but he says in about 10 years it will, and I'll probably need surgery.
Oh, no.
But
Do they fill in the hole?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they put some, like...
Cement.
Some painter's putty or some Bondo in there or what. But, no, I went to the eye doctor because... 46 years, I'm finally waving the white flag that I need to improve my vision.
Man, I'm proud of you because I know you don't like doctors.
Yeah.
What is it about doctors that you? I mean, am I assuming that or?
I mean, it's just who likes doctors?
Oh,
well, I forgot who I'm talking. You love the hospital.
I do. I don't know why you got mad at me about that.
No, because you kept putting it out in the universe the other day about how you can't wait. You said something to the effect of, I can't wait till I go to the hospital. And that's my biggest fear in life, not for me, but for you. I want to keep you out of the hospital in any context.
Sure.
As long as we are both alive. And I know that, you're probably going to go to the hospital at some point here or there.
100%.
But it's nothing you should look forward to.
No, it's something that we all fear, I think. Mm-hmm. And I don't fear it because I'm used to it. It's like going to the mall.
Yeah. But
that's not my fault.
You glorify it a little too much.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't like being taken care of and everyone loving me. It's a friggin' hospital. Yeah. And you get an IV. Do you know people pay for IVs now? Mm-hmm. It's like $150 free at the hospital. Free IV.
Well, I don't think it's free.
Well, they do it to you when you're there.
What's that got to do with free?
Well, I don't think it's like they don't charge me.
Of course they charge you. They charge you for everything. That's the whole thing at the hospital. $40 for an asprin.
So put it on the tab,
they
really.
They charge everything, yeah.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, I made it this far without needing glasses or contacts. But they had to send them off. I was hoping they'd come in while we were doing this, but I think they'll be here next week. But yeah, send them off to the lab. And I never even thought about glasses till like that morning. I was like, oh, I'm probably going to need, I knew I had the appointment, but in terms of like what style I should get or whatever, but I don't even know how to describe
how was that, like the fitting? How many did you try on?
Maybe 5 or 6.
Aww. Did you do some looks?
Yeah, I was
like model looks in the mirror.
Yeah. Different emotions, different expressions. But yeah, I got a hole in my eye, and I also have a very rare condition apparently where my right eye is nearsighted and my left eye is farsighted. Apparently, that's somewhat rare. So I'm a special boy.
I really don't know what nearsighted means.
It means you can read easier, closer stuff. And
isn't that for everybody? Like, right?
It's a good question.
Thank you. Also, I had wisdom yesterday. We'll go into that later, but let's go with your eye right now. So farsighted is far away. You can't see.
You
crap.
can see far away.
Oh.
It's easier to So I can see far away with my left eye, and I can see better close up with my right eye.
So right eye is whole eye, which has a hole in it.
The right eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
It's the upper. He said around the 2 o'clock position on my
How
eyeball.
does one go through so many concussions and not know? Oh yeah, you were.
Well, no,
in a
three
violent-
that I know. I'm just saying there might be another one here or there.
Didn't you give yourself a concussion by putting a beer can on your head?
I may
over
have
and over?
concussed myself on a nationally televised Vice program by smashing upwards of a dozen beer cans on my head. I may have done that a few years ago on TV. I'm not sure.
Did you lose consciousness?
Also got that tattoo on that show too.
Which tattoo?
With literally 30 seconds notice,
Oh,
the barbecue. They're like, hey, we want to get Emily tattooing people. You need to decide in like 30 seconds we're going to come back and shoot.
Was this pre-beer can or post?
It's probably during.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same night.
Just while you're doing it.
Yeah, if you look up Viceland Flophouse, the Atlanta episode.
That's my boo.
Yeah, well, it all started because one guy wanted to crush, he crushed that can ladder. Let's see, I got a hole in my brain.
I know, whole eye.
He was going broadside with the crushing, and I'm like, no,
Golden
see,
Girls
with
Cup
this,
shirt.
yeah.
Let's do it.
He was, there's water in this, but he
Okay.
was turning it sideways and smashing it. I'm like, no, you got to go north-south.
Concussions, you lose your memory, right?
Huh?
No, like right after you're like, oh, I don't know where I was. Susie got a concussion once skiing, and she kept asking Judy, like, what happened? What happened? What happened?
Yeah, I got one in football. I got one on the job when I was a cop.
What if you were like at Chili's?
Yeah. When I was a line cook at Outback.
Stop it, Harvey.
Harvey, what are you doing, buddy?
He's a menace to society.
He sure is. God! Also, I've got a respiratory thing I've had since Christmas.
I know, I'm kind of
And
worried.
I don't know if it's going to work right now because it's usually in the middle of the day, it kind of goes away. But late at night and early in the morning, I wheeze. Mm-hmm. No, I can't do it.
Oh, you just kind of did it. All right,
But
pretend you're sleeping.
But it's not like I'm snoring because it's coming from like the chest, not the nasal area. And it sounds like I got 4 or 5 miniature harmonicas caught in my throat.
Yeah.
Because it's weird because I have like noise coming from multiple sources.
I wonder if you have a hole in your tongue.
I may, yeah.
Or
I don't know. But I'm all tore up.
I know.
I can't
You're
see.
breaking down.
I can't see. I'm wheezing. I hurt my neck.
Yeah, what's going on?
I slept on my neck wrong. I'm really starting to feel my age. But that's okay.
Like a fine wine, you age great.
That's right.
Yeah. But sometimes there's sour grapes that need to be filtered out. I'm assuming. Yeah. Not sure.
This is a weird question to ask your wife. Do you wear glasses? What I mean is I know you have glasses.
You don't.
But they're decorative. Do you have prescription lenses?
I probably should.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to see, hear, walk. For me, it's like a daily exercise to exist. No, I think I have pretty good eyesight. I mean, that one time I hit my eye with the bungee cord.
Yeah, when you were rocking an eye patch for about 2 weeks.
That was fun. I scratched my, what is the cornea?
Sure, the cornea. Retina, I think
bunion?
the cornea.
No.
Not the bunion.
I have a bunion.
I scratched my Corolla.
My bunion flex. Hey, hot and sexy bunion lady.
But I'm wondering if I should go. I went ahead and got the glasses, but now the question is, do I stick with glasses? Do I get contacts? Or do I do the LASIK surgery?
Okay, so I think you should do both. I think you should do contacts and glasses.
Okay.
I think it's fun. It's
Wear them
different.
together?
Yeah.
Come on,
Harvey's
Charlie.
like about to have SEX with my
No, he's just scratching
iPad.
and in
Yes,
the way.
he is. He was trying to do
Man,
them. Anyway, Harvey. Okay.
We're gonna have to squirt him.
If you see us on YouTube, you know what you're doing. Thank you, Skippy.
Thank you, Skippy.
All
Daddy,
right.
I hate doing
Sorry,
this.
guys.
There you
Oh,
go.
there he
Look
is.
at that.
Okay,
Didn't
he
even
goes
have to
away.
do it.
Goes away. Goes right
This
away.
little spray bottle of water is very intimidating.
You know what? Glasses in my family wasn't really taken seriously. Like my mom and dad would just go to Costco and get literally like 20 pairs of glasses in like a plastic thing. You know how I do with lighters. Like it's just like, lose them. There it is. For reading.
Oh, reading glasses.
Reading glasses.
Okay.
I have blue blockers to protect my eyes from all my brain games that I play on my phone.
Yeah.
And or studying, you know.
Also, can we talk about that? Like, your eyesight, I'm surprised you have any. You don't...
Me?
You don't turn on the light when you enter a room.
I don't like overhead
Every
light.
time I see you in the kitchen, the lights are off. And you're in there fumbling around like a cat burglar.
Well, I don't like the lights in there. I am, like, weird. It's hard. It's a harsh light in there, and I feel like I'm in prison. And it's a small kitchen, so it's like, I'm in prison. I just want to get out of prison.
Well, I just worry about you. Just worry about you, that's all.
No, I know. But the light out here isn't bad because we have a lot of lamps and whatnot. But yeah, overhead light's hard for me. Hard for me to deal with. I get it. I should use, especially with knives and stuff around. But yeah, I think my eyesight's good. I'm just going to go with it's fine for now.
Okay.
You know, let's just...
They put me through a gauntlet of tests.
Did you do the A?
They had this little clicker, and they were like, anytime you see, there was several different tests, but one of them was you look right in the center of this thing, you put this little, what's the little thing when you're a
Ocular
kid?
glass? No, telescope?
No, the thing when you're a kid, little red thing, and you'd put...
Viewmaster.
Viewmaster. You remember that thing?
Yes.
You put little cards in it? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that. And they had me look at the bullseye in the middle, and then there were like these little fuzzy blurbs, you know, in my peripheral. And anytime I saw one, I'd have to beep. And I scored real good on that.
Oh, good job.
But then the classic read the letters, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure what that one is.
Oh, I remember.
That's a D or an O.
Is that an emoji?
Maybe number 7. I'm not sure what that is. But, yeah, so...
I'm glad you went. That's a big deal for you to go to the optometrist.
Self-care.
There it is.
Now I just got to go to the dentist.
Oh, yeah.
Get my mouth fixed.
And you have holes in your mouth.
I got holes in my mouth. I got holes in my eye. I got a hole in my butt.
You're falling
It's a slippery
apart.
slope. But I'm all right. How are you, Boo? Everything's good?
Oh, everything is ducky.
Yeah.
I don't have a hole in my eye.
Uh-huh.
But I have one in my heart, JK. No, I don't.
You good?
Yeah.
Everything's good?
Oh, you get so worried. No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on.
Moving on. Everything's great.
Got a new feature I'm very excited about.
Okay.
Not on his watch. It's time for Neighborhood Watch with Dave on the Stonebergs.
There we go.
Woo, woo, woo.
Laying down some street justice. I've been doing pretty good recently.
Okay.
With my street justice. You know, I did. Oh, did I tell you about the guy the other night? I asked him to pick up his trash.
No.
Yeah, just a guy sitting down here talking on the phone. He was speaking French, which that's fine. I'll allow that. But I noticed him the week before. I guess I've seen him multiple weeks in a row. And 2 weeks ago, I noticed him while I was walking Charlie, and I didn't think anything of it. He was just sitting right here below our apartment. And then the next morning, there's a White Claw and a pack of Denim cigarettes. I don't even know that.
I've never heard of that.
Cigarette box said Denim.
Denim.
Never heard of that. But anyway, no big deal. I picked up the trash. So the next week, he's sitting there again. I guess it's like he must have some weekly appointment around here.
Yeah.
He was sitting there talking on the phone, speaking French. I was just like, hey, man, how you doing? I was like, you speak English? And he's like, no. And I was like, all right, well, just be sure to take your trash with you this time. And he goes, oh, I don't have any trash. I go, last week you had some trash. And to his defense, he's like, oh, yeah. He didn't try to debate me. He was like, yeah, okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, just, it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
People live here.
Okay.
Don't throw your fucking White Claw.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. That made me so
Maybe
mad.
he was coming back to it the following week.
Maybe
Maybe
he
he
was
was saving
stashing.
it.
But that's not what I wanted to talk about
okay.
with the Neighborhood Watch. There's a thing I've noticed in my YouTube perusing. There's a new crime I want to make people aware of. And it's been around for a few years up in the Bay Area.
Ooh.
I believe this started in the Bay Area. You ever heard of bipping?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? Is it beat bopping? Is it like dancing?
Not really.
Oh.
Bipping,
No.
Bippin. It's slang for basically really fast smash and grab robberies from vehicles.
God.
And up in the Bay Area, this has been going on for a few years, and it's like an epidemic up there. There's all kind of stories on the news and stuff about it. And basically what it is, it's these thieves working together, but it's not just a car break-in. It's like they do it so fast. There's these little tools. I got you a tool, one of these one time, for like if you're in an emergency, your car, you drive into a lake and you're underwater and you can't get out of your car. It's just this little thing on your keychain that smashes the window with very little pressure.
Yeah.
Well, there's like groups, rings of these thieves going around, and they are robbing people in traffic.
No.
People sitting on the freeway in traffic with their foot on the gas, and it's bumper to bumper, and then somebody in a car next to them, the passenger, whomever, will get out, look in the back seat, either the back where the trunk or, the hatchback might be, or the back seat. If they see a bag or a purse or a suitcase or anything, this is happening to people while they're in their own car.
No.
So that's something to look out for. And when people are getting gas, there's all kind of good security footage of this on YouTube. People just pumping gas, so if you're pumping gas, depends on what side your tank is on, but let's say your tank's on the driver's side. So you pull up, driver's side, you get out, you're pumping gas here.
Yeah.
The whole passenger side, whether it be the front, the back, the very back, whatever, people will scope out and they'll, like, one car will pull up and the passenger will get out and he'll kind of like low crawl so no one can see him over to the passenger side of a car and look in. And if he sees something, he'll smash it and grab it before this person even knows what's going on. So it's truly like a epidemic up in the Bay Area. They're talking to the citizens are like, yeah, this has happened to me literally dozens of times.
No.
So the key here is, even when you're at the gas station and you're filling up your tank, don't leave any valuables in sight. Don't leave your purse on the passenger seat. Don't leave a backpack, iPads,
Charlie,
anything that they can look very quickly and see, hey, I need that. That's probably got some valuables in it.
That's terrifying. I've never heard of that happening while they're driving.
Exactly.
Like, that's crazy because LA is just stop. Like, you just stop the whole time. It's just like a parade. We
both have fell victim to just a regular, car break-in. My car's been broken into a few times out here, but not while I'm driving the car or standing next to it getting gas.
Yeah.
And just the brazenness of some of these criminals. It's really insane. I mean, there's one, you can look it up. The guy's on the freeway, stopped in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and somebody gets out, grabs it. And this particular video, it was kind of right at a fork.
Okay.
Like, maybe where the 5 and the 110 or what, one freeway forking off into two freeways. It was right at that fork where this guy was already kind of pointed towards this direction. So the car pulls up next to him. Guy hops out, smash, grab, and then he forks off to the other direction. So this guy can't even get around to, chase him or anything.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
See, this news doesn't empower me as much as make me not want to leave the house.
Well, no, it's not about fear. It's not about, it's just about being aware. Go out, live your life, do what you want to do. But what I always say, keep your head on a swivel.
But what do you do? Okay, I'm sitting in traffic. Hey, I'm Katie in traffic. They smash it. I see a hand come in. Do I just bark or what do I do?
I mean, I think the thing is like just...
Get out, just slap it.
Just don't leave stuff.
Call your mother.
Don't leave stuff unattended. Don't leave valuables unattended.
Yeah. Well, I'm not like driving around with jewels. I don't have any like, valuables like that.
Well, I mean, you never know. Like,
That's true.
If I were to go look in your car right now, from the outside, would I be able to look in and see anything worth value?
What's your definition of value?
Would I anything that I could sell or pawn?
No, it's basically right now a lot of like Starbucks cups, probably with like mold in it, and then I think a cable that I got at 7-Eleven that's like pink and it doesn't really work for your phone.
This was not bipping per se, but I remember back when I was living in Atlanta, there were certain neighborhoods that were so notorious for car break-ins that my friends and stuff, they would just leave their cars unlocked or the windows down. Like, if steal my shit, but just don't break my window.
Oh,
You know?
you'd rather just let it go.
And that's how I used to be back when I had the Jeep. You know, if you got a Jeep and you got the top off, there's no way to secure any of that. It's just simply getting in the habit of not having anything exposed or visible that could be stolen.
Well, it keeps you, I was about to say, it keeps you honest, but it keeps you very clean. Like when I see a convertible with the top down at a store or whatever, it's like, oh, there's nothing in there. And it's just like, hey, come on in, sit. But you can't take anything because it's hidden.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy. Some of these videos, they've shown where people are just hitting multiple cars at one time. Like, it's usually always at least two people. One guy's driving, one person's driving, and then they got somebody riding shotgun. Yeah. And that person gets out and rides shotgun. Like, we were talking last week about parallel parking and street parking where, you just got car after car. Well, I saw one video where the passenger hopped out, and he's just literally walking, and the driver's keeping pace with him. And he'll skip that car, nothing. He'll break into that car, bag, break into that car, bag. And they'll get 3 or 4 in the matter of like 20, 30 seconds. And then he's hopped back in the car, and they're gone. Whoa. So
what if they just get in and are like, where are you going? Yeah. Want to take me somewhere? Cool.
Like when I was in the van twice, I had people break into the van while I was in the van. And you talk about some surprised criminals.
Oh, my
Because the van just looked like a vacant work van. They were breaking in to steal tools and copper pipe and stuff. They didn't think there would be a chubby, bearded unhoused van dweller wielding a machete.
That's terrifying.
But yeah, so the point of this update, just especially when you're at the gas station, watch out for everybody who's around you. Don't keep your purse or your backpack or anything unattended in the passenger seat of the back. And just, even if you're driving in slow traffic, like, people are getting jacked while they're driving their cars.
That's insane.
It's crazy. So watch out for that
Fun.
shit. There you go. Moving on. 213-282-3615.
In that order.
213-282-3615. If you haven't done so already, put us in your phone, create new contact.
Why not?
We are here for you.
Have some fun.
24/7. Give us a call. Let us know what's going on with you. We got one queued up right here.
Hey, Dave and Katie. Long-time listener, second-time caller. So this is more a question for Dave. He ran his own landscaping business to great success from everything I've heard. So here's the problem I'm having. I am an apartment maintenance technician, or was, and I started my own company, painting, remodeling, etc., 2 years ago. And over the course of those 24 months, everything has fucking exploded to where I am spread so thin that I cannot keep up with the amount of work that I have coming in. So I guess the question is, what's the best way to turn down new client, existing client, for requested work on things that you just don't have time to get to, where you don't want to lose the client, but you also can't get to it, or if you did get to it, you'd be rushed and do a less than stellar job. I would appreciate your input, and I love you guys, and you both look healthy and happy, and I'm so happy for that. All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Didn't leave a name, but
Aw.
yeah,
Well,
that's
congratulations. That's a good problem.
That's a good problem to have. That's the paradox with being a small business owner, whether it be a service company like this or retail or what have you, is you want to build up that customer base, that client base, get that workload coming in, but then there's always a point where, like, okay, I can't handle anymore. So you could do one of two things. You can either start saying no to work, or you can expand. You can get some help. When like he mentioned, I was a landscaper probably about 4 years, maybe 5 years, right after I was a cop. It was something I had done, for other people in the past. I always, at one point or another, I seem to have always had some sort of landscaping gig. I probably, not including my own company, I've probably worked for 4 or 5 other landscaping companies going back to my teenage years. And it was quite a fun time, exciting time. It's fun being your own boss.
Yeah.
It's fun starting a business and getting it off the ground. And, but yeah, there came a point where I had to start saying no to new business. Yeah. So my advice would be to do one of the two things. Either learn to say no to new customers. You don't want to get rid of or say no to existing customers.
Right.
Landscaping it's repeat business. It's one of the great. A lot of these service type businesses are great in that, grass is going to grow. In Georgia in the summer, some places I'd come every week, but on average every other week. So I'd have regular customers that I would service, on average twice a month. And that was great that, as opposed to other businesses where maybe it's a one-time deal and, but with repeat customers like that, I knew that I only needed X amount of clients.
Right.
I think at my peak, I probably had 50 or 60 regular clients, and some I would do every week, some I do every other week, some I do once every 3 weeks. It just depends on the situation. But point being, at some point, once you reach your maximum workload, you can either just say, that's it, I'm taking on no more new clients. Or, if you're in a situation where you're advertising, back then I would advertise in the local paper. I don't know. I don't know how well that works anymore. But at that point, once you reach that point, you need to either say no to new customers and stop advertising, or if you don't want to do that, figure out how to expand. Get a second trailer, get a second crew, get it, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's really your only two options there. But most importantly, don't spread yourself so thin that you're not getting to customers on a timely fashion, or B, you're doing shoddy work.
Yeah, that's
on an average day, especially with landscaping, it all depends on routing. Mm-hmm. Like I would always try to route things to where I wasn't driving and zigzagging all over town.
Yeah.
But on an average day with just me, and back then, I would use day labor. So eventually, I would had a couple guys that I was using as day labor that kind of turned into like semi part-time regular guys. But point being, it was just me and one helper. And on a good day, I could knock out, if they were routed well, 12 or 15 yards.
Oh, wow.
On a small yard, it was basically, not to bore you with all the details, but
No.
we offered 4 basic services. You'd mow the lawn, you'd weed eat where you couldn't mow, you edge all the hard surfaces, and then you blow off everything at the end. So basically 4 elements. So with that, and if they were routed properly, me and another guy on an average side yard, we could be in and out in 20, 30 minutes. Just boom, 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 and doing that all day on a good day. Like I said, I think there were days where maybe we hit 15 yards in a day, and if they're routed properly. But yeah, just don't spread yourself too thin to where you're doing shoddy work, where you're rushing through the jobs and you're not, you're cutting corners or whatever. But yeah, it's a paradox, because when you start a new business, all you're thinking is customers, work, work, because it's so scary starting from scratch. Like I literally remember my first customer and how excited I was to just go out there and do this yard, and I've got nobody to report to and no boss and blah, blah. I'm just, and that was so exciting. And then, with each new customer, you're like, all right, I'm getting there. But there will hopefully come a point where you're like, okay, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Either say no to new customers or figure out how to expand. So that's my advice to you there.
I have a question.
Dude. Yeah.
How do you say to them, like they call, hey, Dave, I heard you're a yard genius. Mm-hmm. I need you to come over and take care of my estate. What's the nice way of, what would you say on that phone call?
Well, also within that, you can like pick and choose. Like right there, I'd be like, well, how big a job is it? Let me go look at your property. If it's a $30 20-minute deal, maybe I could squeeze you in.
Right.
But if it's a big property and I'm already... Anyway, to answer your question, I appreciate your calling, but we're not taking on any new customers.
Nice.
We're not taking on any new customers. That's the most succinct and polite way to say it. It's nothing personal.
Yeah.
But we're not taking. Now, like I said, that's when you pull your advertising. You don't want to advertise and someone sees your advertisement and then they call and then you're like, well, then what the hell the ad? Why are you running the ad?
Yeah.
But yeah, so pull your advertising at that point. Or, I used to get a lot of people calling in just word of mouth. Word of mouth was one of the best ways to do it in terms of like your neighbor. I mean, we've done that with other services, asking neighbors, hey, are you happy with this? Are you happy with that? Who does this for you? But yeah, I would say more than half my customers were just word of mouth. But yeah, regardless if it's word of mouth or they're responding to an advertisement, I'm sorry we're not taking on new customers right now.
I think also a good tactic that I've noticed with either eyebrow waxing or whatever you have to do online, it maybe have a calendar and be like, okay, like almost how hotels have it, like, no, this is booked, like black it out until
absolutely.
a certain date. And then, okay, in the future, I might be able to.
Yeah, can't get you this week, but next Tuesday's open if you don't mind waiting that long.
Because then you're doing anticipation. Ooh, I'm so excited, to go get that wow brow.
Yeah. And a good principle with this or any business or just almost any aspect of life is under promise and over deliver. Under promise and over deliver.
Under promise and over deliver. So, like, hey, I'm going to suck and then do well.
Well, I mean, in theory, yes. But it's like when I worked at restaurants and they would train the host staff, if you know it's going to be a 30-minute wait, tell them it's going to be a 40-minute wait. That way, when it's only a 25-minute wait, they're very excited.
Oh, right.
You under promise and over deliver.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Like, oh, this job's going to take 2.5 hours, and then when it takes an hour and a half, they're oh wow, this guy's good.
But isn't that lying? Am I incorrect?
Well, that would be a good lie. A good lie. If the auto mechanic says he thinks it's going to cost $1,000, and then you show up the next day and it's $400, that's a good lie.
Well, that's a liar, though.
I'm glad you were wrong.
You're a filthy liar.
Your estimate. 213-282-3615. Give us a call anytime. Let us know what's going on with you. Best of luck to you, buddy, with that business. But yeah, either pump the brakes or expand. One or the other.
Do it.
That's my advice to you.
Do it to it.
Moving on, Boo. What do we got lined up today?
All right, hold on. Let me get my smart glasses. Wassa. Now, Boo, I know you've heard of this word, and I'm sure a lot of people have. So today we're going to be talking about projection. Get on the projection train.
Okay.
Love that. That's the best thing ever. Okay, so do you know what projection is?
Yes. Yes and no. I understand the broad strokes. I've been accused of projecting myself.
No, you have.
So if I have, let's say I, for a simple example, I hate peanut butter.
Yeah, you hate it.
And I don't, but for the sake of the example. Then I'm always, in that example, what would be me projecting? Like telling you not to eat peanut butter?
Okay, so great question. Because here, let's go over
bad analogy.
No. I'm going to go over the definition, and then we'll figure it out together.
Okay.
Because, it gets in the weeds. I know what you're saying, and I don't know the answer. All right, so psychological projection. It's a defense mechanism where individuals attribute their own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or motives to another person. In doing so, they defend themselves against their own unconscious impulses or qualities by denying their existence in themselves and attributing it to others. Whoo!
Okay, for example,
that's a definition.
Real life example. Years ago, I had a girlfriend who was always thinking that I was cheating.
Yes.
She was always not right out accusing me, but always, what are you talking to? Who's that girl? What do you? And come to find out, she cheated on me. But she was always thinking I was going to cheat. So she was projecting her own dishonest insecurities on me.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and also, there's an old writer. His name is Bill Shakespeare. And he said once something like, "Thou protest."
I never quite understood what that meant. Thou don't protest too much?
Yeah. Thou doth.
Sure.
Meaning you're talking too much about this. This means that you're insecure about this. What the hell? Why do you keep bringing it up to me? I love peanut butter. Shut up about it.
Yeah.
You know? But the concept of projection is from Freud. Shocker. This started, he described a patient who was avoiding confronting her feelings. So in a relationship, she was the one telling her partner that she was thinking they were having an affair, which the whole time, though, she was having the affair.
Okay.
So you're kind of, your fear, oh, Charlie said hi. Your fear is what's inside of you, what you're, like, say I murdered somebody. I didn't. I didn't murder anyone.
Okay.
Just want to say I no murder.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, where were you last night? You know, what time? Man, you look kind of creepy. You look like a murderer.
What's the matter? You killed somebody?
Okay, that's not good.
You killed somebody, didn't you?
But it's a threatening trait. You're basically threatening someone with your own insecurity.
Okay.
So an example, a married man who is attracted to a female coworker. What up, lady? I'm going to be him.
Okay.
But rather than admit this to himself, he might accuse her of flirting. Why do you keep flirting with me?
Yeah.
Let me see your underwear.
And she's probably like,
Yeah.
You're out of your fucking mind. I'm not flirting with you. And he's like, Are you sure? It feels like you're flirting with me.
Well, here's what happens, because, you know, we love the word trigger. It's overused, but whatever. When you get poked, when you get triggered, your reptilian brain is activated. You begin to project because you're almost like, get away from me. No, I'm not going here, because you're really hitting something sensitive and I don't want to hear it. So that's when a lot of projection happens. I like to call projection lying.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't want to be a filthy liar.
No.
You want to be truthful. But I lie all the time. I mean, not all the time to you.
Okay.
No.
When do you lie?
No, I don't lie, but like you were saying, like white lies. Like, how you doing, Katie? Oh, I'm good. No, I'm not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Small talk.
Sure.
Anyway, long story short, if you think you are projecting, let's say, like, wow, where is this coming from? I'm saying a lot of stuff I'm struggling with to this person who I really love. Crap. And you could stop yourself in the middle of it and be like, I need to, just give me a second and I'm going to come back. Because in a fight, we want to hurt that other person. So I think projecting is also like a weapon, right? I'm using this sword to protect the crap out of the fear that I have inside of me.
Okay.
So you're poking at my, oh my gosh, Katie, the room's a mess, right? Like ADHD nightmare mess. And I am like, oh, really? Well, your shirt's messy. You know what I mean? Like, I just come out swinging in a different way to deflect A, the conversation, and then B, my feelings are hurt. And what do? You know, if I'm not emotionally connected, I'm just going to be like, all right, game on. Let's go fight.
Can you give me a real world example of when you've projected recently?
Yeah. Okay, let me think. One sec. What you were going to say?
I was just thinking, like, from my perspective, I think I project on you sometimes, like when I'm trying to diet or something. Oh. And then late at night you come and eat a bunch of sugar, and I'm like, hey, a little late to be eating all that sugar. Yeah. But in reality, I'm just jealous that I'm not getting to eat the sugar.
Right. And
Does that mean projecting? Like,
yeah,
me even addressing that to you.
Yeah.
Like, because ultimately I don't care. I never.
Right.
It'd be funny if I was strict on you about your diet and your physique. I mean, ultimately, I don't care whether you eat the sugar, but then I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Don't eat all that.
Right.
And that's just because I wish I could be eating it.
Well, you're looking at somebody, I think, yes, that's very correct, I believe. Like, you're looking at me eating sugar. I want to eat sugar too. Well, let me just shame this person for eating sugar so I could feel kind of better for not. Also, you're not owning your stuff, right? You're putting it on the other person. So you're like, oh, I have a problem with eating too much sugar. I do, for sure. And so if I'm on a diet taking, which I'm going to be starting today, I'm hungry. I know. Anyway, but wow, my mind just went blank.
Huh?
It really did. But no, if I'm mad, and your body, right, reacts to things like if you're on a diet, day one, you're angry, you see your skinny roommate come in with like ice cream and it's like, yay! Like, oh, F you. That happened to me in college. And it's like, okay, but that's my insecurity because I'm not happy with myself because I'm not feeling in shape. I'm not feeling good about myself. Okay. Because it's all about you, but it is in terms of owning how you feel about a certain thing. Because you're just trying to deflect. You're trying to, okay, I'm just going to project my stuff. Hopefully something sticks and we could just avoid any type of accountability on my part.
So how do we combat this behavior? What can we do to not project onto others?
Okay, well, rather than ignoring it, you have to confront it, okay? So, is projection conscious or unconscious? That's a good question. It's unconscious. We do that, and it's because we, as at least in this Psychology Today article, it's the unconscious process that protects the ego from unacceptable thoughts and impulses. So, you want to do basically checking yourself, like we say all the time, right? Why am I so mad at this with this person? I do that with Dr. Julie. Like, I'll just be like, oh my God, I used to do it all the time with family, whatever, situations. And she'd be like, okay, hold on. What about that person is making you mad? Well, they called me a failure. They said I'm a disgusting failure and I'm never going to make anything of myself. Okay. Do you think you're a failure? No, I think I'm doing really good. Okay. So that's on them. They're calling you a failure because they think they are. They're sad that you're not making something out of your life because they didn't. They're putting all their stuff onto you. And instead of saying, you know what, why do I feel so passionately about this? Why am I obsessed with this one thing with this person? Well, guess what? This person is a big mirror that's coming at you, and you see the faults in them, and you're like, oh, yeah, you fix it. A lot of people say this a lot, like, I can help everybody else but myself. Yeah. And it's like, well, that's great, but then you just get mad and start, it comes out, unless you deal with your emotions. I feel like this is vague, but are you getting it kind of?
Would I say that, I don't know. Would you say? Is it safe to say that this is very common amongst a parent-child relationship?
Absolutely. Yes, parents project, and there's 3 different kinds. So, usually the parent projection is complementary projection, right? So this happens when they believe others hold, like their children, the same beliefs that they do. For instance, a son, daughter who practices a specific religion may assume that the entire family does as well, or, mom, dad, whoever. And then if they don't mirror that, then that's, oh my God, they complementary projection, meaning like, oh, 2 peas in a pod. Like that. Does that track kind of?
Yeah. My mom used to do a thing when I was younger. She'd bring up a story. I heard so-and-so's son did so-and-so. Well, I know my boys would never do that. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, I'd never do that. You know what I mean? Kind of like guilting us. Like, oh, I know you'd never do that, would you?
And you're like, I would.
Sure, I wouldn't do that.
Wow.
Yeah. I think a lot of that. I just remember my boys would never do that.
Oh.
Well, think
maybe
again.
Maybe they do.
Think again, lady.
Did you do some of the stuff?
Well, some of it, no, but some of it, yes, depending. But she would say it so much, like,
Interesting.
oh, Carol's son got convicted of bank robbery. Well, okay, yeah, I'd never do that. But then you'd hear like, so-and-so's having premarital sex. I remember that. I know my boys would never do that. Like, yeah, no, not at all.
Well, here's signs that somebody is using projection, right? Defensiveness. If someone's angry, defensive, invalidation. So they might have a difficulty acknowledging their behaviors, what they need to work on, and so they invalidate you. Accusations. So like your girlfriend who said, "Are you cheating on me?" No, that was a projection. That was an accusation projection. And lack of responsibility. If you're like, "Wow, you're not taking responsibility," someone's speaking to you and you're like, "This sounds like a you thing." But how do we respond to it is the answer. And I got some answers for you.
I figured you did.
All right. So, if somebody is projecting on you, you can ask questions to get to the heart of the issue. So you might try something like, "I'm trying to understand your point of view. Can you tell me more about your thoughts on this? Can you give me a specific example?" So you almost just slow down the conversation and then kind of dissect it. Or you can acknowledge their feelings and share your own. Be clear what you don't understand and then express what you disagree with. So gently let them know, okay, I disagree and I know we're heated right now, so let's revisit. But it's okay for us to disagree. It's okay for you to have a point of view and me to have a point of view. Everyone's right to have their point of view. Don't put it on somebody else.
Yeah.
And then pausing the conversation, it says, as we all know, if you're in a fight, pause, get out of the space, because it's not going to go anywhere if you've been triggered. You're just going to say a lot of mean things and then you can't take it back. And it hurts. Words hurt. Boo. So, how to stop projecting on other people. We'll just go over this real quick. Be open to feedback.
Okay.
Don't be so defensive. It can be so hard to get notes. I hate that. But, as an athlete, like when a coach says, "Hey, do it this way," you automatically do it because the coach has your best interest at heart, right?
Do it right, do it light. Do it
Exactly.
wrong, do it long. That's what they used to tell us.
Yeah.
Do it right, do it. I mean, you do it correctly, we'll do this just a couple of times.
Right.
But if you do it wrong, we'll be here all damn night.
Oh, okay. That
Do
resonates.
it right, do it light. Do it wrong, do it long.
Do it right, long, light, oh. Sure. Oh, Al Pacino. Oh, sorry. Okay. Respond instead of reacting. Take a moment and then respond. I like to count to 10, but then people get off put a lot because it's just like a long pause.
You mentioned something earlier about listening and asking questions. That's something I've noticed that I've tried to do as I've gotten older. Whereas when I was younger, if we were having a conversation, no matter what you said, like if I'm following along most of it, I'm right there with you. But if you said something maybe I didn't understand or a reference I didn't get, I would still be like, yeah, Where now I'm honest in the conversation.
Right.
Where if you say something or reference something that I go, well, what do you mean by that? Right? Yeah. I don't understand. I'll interject and ask honest questions. Whereas before I would just gloss over it as to not stop the conversation or throw this person off their game,
Right.
So, and I still catch myself doing that. I think it's just human nature. But it's like, do you know what I'm talking about? No.
Yeah.
But then why'd you say, I don't know. Just like trained, programmed to just agree.
Right.
Whereas if you're truly listening and you say something maybe I don't understand, then I need to, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So. Yeah, exactly. So it's always being curious with the other person. It's not attacking. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm curious. Oh, you don't know? Yeah. Here, I'll explain.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know? Okay. Like, I don't know. It's really about reading people and kind of owning your stuff which, by the way, I am the baby of a family. I had 2 older sisters. I got away with murder. I was the youngest. I was living my truth. But I didn't know how to take a note. It made me very sensitive to any type of criticism. And I know that that's my stuff. So when when I get very like, oh, You just said something to me that reminds me of my father. Okay, you're not my father. That like I have to do a bunch of work in my head to not project my crap all over you.
Yeah.
So knowing what our stuff is really helpful for everyone in your life, like partner, friend, sibling, whatever. I think, and then letting someone know, like, hey, I think are you okay? Because and not in a condescending way, but in a like, oh, you're talking to me in this tone and you're saying these things. I don't feel like I'm struggling in that. What's going on? You know what I mean? Like opening up that door of communication.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful because some people don't receive that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So listen, if you take anything away from today, be direct and honest.
There you go.
And project, not deflect. No, don't project. Deflect.
Was that good?
No, I don't know. Anyway, just be nice.
Just be nice?
Everyone be nice.
Well, that sounds like a plan.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Boo. That was very insightful.
Yes. Oh, of course.
Moving on.
Okay.
One potato, two potato, couch potato.
I'm like busy watching TV.
Let's see what's streaming with the Stonebergs.
Yes, let's.
Yeah.
Let's see what's streaming.
Couching, baby.
Couch potato. It's one of my favorite activities.
Yeah, me too.
What's better than sitting on the couch and mindlessly watching something really good?
Laying in bed and doing the same
like
exact
that?
thing. I'm a lay.
I'm a couch potato. You're a bed potato.
I'm a bed potato.
I got bed potatoes in St. Louis one time.
What's
I had
that?
to get some ointment. No, just bed potato sounds like a horrible.
It does sound like, that's why I was like, oh, you said it with such confidence.
Bed potatoes.
Bed potato, one potato. Hey, everybody.
What have we been watching on the boob tube? I've been watching a lot of Curb.
I'm loving the Curb.
Yeah.
This season has just been amazing.
It's the final season, number 12.
Also, I'm really sad though, Richard Lewis.
That's so funny because we were talking about this before he passed away, where traditionally I was never much of a fan. Like, well, in his defense, comedy has changed so much in the last 30 or 40 years, and he was part of that big 80s comedy boom. And I like to stand up good enough, but it was nothing that I would return to or seek out. So when I started watching Curb years ago and he popped up, it's like, it's Richard Lewis. Is that guy out? And I knew the personal connection between he and Larry. If you don't know, they were friends. They knew each other when they were 12 years old.
Larry David and Richard Lewis.
And they went to summer camp together.
Oh my gosh.
And apparently they didn't get along. And then 10 years later, they went their separate ways, through adolescence and teenage years. And then when they both started doing comedy in New York in their early to mid 20s, they both connected the dots. Like, you're the guy from the summer camp years ago. And I think initially their beef continued, but I think they quickly learned that they were birds of a feather. But anyway, so when he started showing up on Curb, I was like, I knew he was. And, I don't know if I appreciated him as much as I should have, but throughout the years, I just loved his character on Curb.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, they're all playing a exaggerated version of themselves for the most part, except for Jeff Garlin. He's playing, but Larry and Richard are playing themselves. But, in recent years, really grew to appreciate his role in Curb. And then, the news of his passing was such a bummer. But he was so funny. And their dynamic and their chemistry.
So good. It's so good.
I don't know if they invented this technique, but it's something that they do or did so well. They'd be in an argument. They were always arguing.
Yeah.
Great old friends, but still just
bickering.
And at each other's throats. But they would be in the middle of an argument, and then they would dissect a line that the other person said that would throw them off the course of the argument. And I don't have an example off the top of my head, but they'd be back and forth. In the middle of it, Richard might be like, oh, you pronounce it that way? Oh, I pronounce it this way. Like something would sidetrack the argument, like either a comedic premise or but they were so good at that. Like just the concept of like being in the heat of a verbal argument and still being able to pause that and then address this comedic element,
And then come back at the
and then
exact-
come back
yeah.
to the fight.
Yeah.
They were so good at that. And yeah, he passed away a few weeks ago. It was kind of ironic, one of his last episodes. Well, I mean, they filmed I'm assuming his character is going to be in the whole season. Did you even set a timer?
I did.
Is that an old timer?
No, this is a set one. This was I did 6 minutes for fun. Let me go ahead. What
So
do we
he'll-
got? 4,
he'll-
2, 3.
He'll obviously finish out the season. He passed away a few weeks ago, but the last episode before he passed in real time, his character and Larry's character were arguing about being in each other's will.
They were.
And then they're going to outlive each other.
I'm going to outlive you. I'm going to eat so healthy. It was an outlive off.
And I've always loved Curb, but I will admit the last few seasons I thought weren't very good. I think probably, the first 5 were good except for season 4. I didn't care for Ben Stiller or David Schwimmer's
Oh, see,
cameos.
I love them, so I'm good.
Both of them, I don't know how they are in real life, but they made both of those characters kind of seem like putzes, like just guys you wouldn't want to hang out with, just up their own ass.
I love that.
So that season kind of, and then when they brought on Leon and the Blacks, this is their name. They even joke about that.
Yeah.
Their last name were Black. Vivica A. Fox and J.B. Smoove and that whole group. J.B. Smoove, such a huge addition.
Oh, he's so wonderful.
So they brought them on in season 6, and I thought, it was good. I think 10 and 11 I didn't care for, the most recent ones.
Yeah.
And the first few episodes of this current season I didn't care for. They started the one in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Where he's in. Just those first 2 episodes I didn't care for. But, man, this season has turned it around.
Oh, it's getting so good. Well, here's my thing. I think I know I don't like seeing wonderful casts in other cities. Like, I think Curb, I just need you to exist in your world.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you in Atlanta. I don't want to see you vacationing. I want to see you in your world because that's, to me, that's kind of the heart of it. Is there something in
I
your...
got something in my tooth.
Oh, boy. In your tooth? Is it a
I
hole?
don't know what's going on. It's a mustache hair,
Oh.
which is ironic. At least it's not a pubic hair wrapped around my tonsils. It happened to Larry. Yeah. It wasn't just me doing this. There's something in there.
But yeah.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm sorry. This is so
No,
distracting.
it's okay. Where is it in your mouth?
My tooth.
Oh,
Anyway.
you want to get floss?
I'm okay.
Is it? Oh my gosh,
think
you
it's
look like you have. What is that? When people are on meth or speed with the
Yeah, meth.
Coke, the Coke head mouth. Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, welcome to the
No,
Stonebergs.
I know what you're saying. I don't like it when the few episodes in Seinfeld where they were in different settings.
Yeah.
Like the Chinese restaurant or the parking garage. Those episodes are fine enough, but part of why you like these shows is the setting.
Yeah.
And when Larry and everybody's they're not in L.A.,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it just feels weird. But this new season's really turned it around. The episode a few weeks ago about the coyote and the dog.
Oh, so good.
Like in Larry's they're so good about taking like inappropriate subject matter or dark subject matter and finding the humor in it.
Yeah.
And now my one complaint that I've had in the last few years, I'm not paying attention to your things,
I know it's okay.
but sometimes the conflicts are so unrealistic. And I know that you have to, the whole structure of comedic storytelling is, there needs to be, but sometimes the conflicts are just so unrealistic where nobody would get mad at Larry for saying that. I know that's kind of the whole thing is Larry's the guy that always putting his foot in his mouth and people are saying the wrong thing. But so many times I agree with Larry.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, no, A, no one would react like that. And B, even if they did, well, then fuck them. They're wrong.
Yeah.
But you could definitely pick apart some of the plot lines in the most recent seasons. And I think part of that is just, he's getting older.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would be like to have to churn out.
How many episodes is in a season? 20?
No, they usually do about 10.
Okay, 10.
So when it's all said and done, they'll probably have about 120 episodes. Because, this is season 12. So, yeah, I think every season's had 10 episodes.
Oh, man.
But still, I think, eventually you just run out of ideas. And, it just seems like they cut corners sometimes in terms of what initiates some of these conflicts and some of these scenarios. But for the most part, this new season, Unlike the last few I just didn't care for.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And I think, and you could put it under a microscope. And
COVID.
And part of it too, not that it's not a serious show, it's a comedy, but like there is a class component to this show in that.
Oh, he's a billionaire.
Yeah. So this whole episode is about a country club or someone,
Right.
Like, but in his defense, that's his life.
Yeah, that's
his
the
world.
world.
He's not working at a fast food place. He's literally worth almost $1 billion thanks to Seinfeld. But a little of that of like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just a little
Champagne problems.
and
Yeah.
like it's hard to connect when the whole plot line's about a country club or something to that effect.
That's what I like about it, though, because I think I agree with you. Like, eye roll, but that's him. The minutia is what he think. Like, you could put him, the billionaire, in a different context. He's still going to be Larry David, like his point of view.
Yeah.
So it's funny because his point of view is so weird and funny that we all just are on board for.
Yeah.
And then, so whatever he's talking about, I'm interested. Like Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal performer.
Yeah.
Performer.
He's one of those that could read the phone book. But, this new season's pretty solid. They got a few to go. I think, probably 2 or 3 more to go. I want to let you know about a thing I found on YouTube.
Okay.
Speaking of Richard Lewis, somebody had edited together every scene in chronological order, every scene that Richard and Larry were in together. Up until I think it goes through season 10.
How
so
long?
It doesn't because the video is a couple years old. It's an hour and 36 minutes long. If you go to YouTube and search a complete timeline of Richard Lewis and Larry David banter and arguments, it's an hour and 36 minutes long. And it's just and they'll even put, season 1, episode 3. They put a little marker.
Wow. Way to
from
go,
each
YouTube.
scene. Whoever
extraordinaires.
I meant to write down the actual channel name and I didn't, but a complete timeline of Richard Lewis and Larry David banter and arguments, hour and 36 minutes long, every scene through the first 10 seasons. Like I said, season 11 and 12's not in there. But just some of their arguments, some of their
Well, he always made Larry break.
Yeah.
Like, you can always tell when they had to cut and do it because he breaks all the time.
There's one, I think it may be season 7, where the one guy's taking a vow of silence.
Oh, yeah.
One of their colleagues, somebody they know, saying, and they're at a party, and the guy comes up to Richard and mimes, like he doesn't speak, and then he walks away, and Larry's standing there, and Richard just goes, "What the fuck was that? Some mime or some shit?" And you could see Larry genuinely break. Like his character breaks, but I guarantee you it was the actor who broke, and they're like, just use it.
Yeah, just keep
It was
going.
so and I tell you, as a comic, Richard Lewis, talent comic, like I said, it wasn't my cup of tea when I was a kid, but his timing.
Yeah.
Like the way he delivers his jokes and his punchlines.
Yeah.
Like his timing, even up till the end, would he pass away at 75, 76?
I don't know.
To the bitter end, the dude just had pinpoint timing.
And he was just so soulful.
Yeah. So
Such
if you haven't seen, I know a lot of people still haven't seen the show at all.
Oh, yeah.
But 12 seasons, also not just 12 seasons, but over the course of about 24 years. I think the first season came out in 2000.
Oh, my God.
So they mowed through, they were doing like a season a year up until about season 5 or 6. Then he started, taking breaks and having a few years between. But 12 seasons and 24 years. Curb Your, not that they need our plugs or recommendations.
Yeah, I think they're good.
But
I
they're
would
also
watch it.
they're
It's
so
amazing.
easy. Every episode's around 30 minutes, so it's easy to just.
Cheryl Hines is in it.
yeah.
Phenomenal.
You can binge
performer.
it. You can mow through a season in about 5 hours.
Yeah. So sit on your couch and get ready,
There you
everybody.
go. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yay.
Couch potato. Moving
Beautiful.
on. Word of
Yes.
mouth this week, Boo. Let's get back into the stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Last week I was talking about my buddies Vandaliers and getting their album all pre-sold and everything. But this week, great stand-up comedian, Adam Caton Holland. Caton Holland is hyphenated. Adam Caton Holland, new YouTube special called Wallpaper. And if you don't know Adam, he's part of that Denver Grolix crew.
Oh, right.
Him, Andrew Orvidal, Ben Roy. They've been working together, it seems now, probably 20 years, it seems. But the Grolics, just a trio. They perform obviously a lot individually, but now they're doing a monthly show they do at the Bug Theater in Denver, where I'll be. But also they did a TV show a few years ago.
Oh yeah, Those Who Can't.
Those Who Can't. It was on True TV. They created it. Just 3 high school teachers. Those who can't.
Yeah.
People,
those who can't
those
teach.
Who can't teach. A lot of our mutual friends are that. Kyle Kinane's in that show. Rory Scoville's in that show. Oh, speaking of Curb, Susie Essman is in that show.
Oh, Susie Essman.
Susie Essman's in there for
Hilarious.
a few seasons. But yeah, you can go back. I don't know where it's got to be streaming somewhere right now. But yeah, I think they did 3 seasons. If I had to guess, maybe what?
It was on TBS, wasn't it?
2013 to 2015. It was on True TV, which was owned by
One
TBS.
Of the T's.
But look up Those Who Can't, and also Adam Caton Holland, Wallpaper on YouTube right now. Great comedian, just one of those guys that kind of does everything well.
Yeah.
He's got short jokes, he's got long jokes, he's got jokes that in terms of like logic and common sense. I love those kind of jokes, like observations. That's like, I'm surprised I never thought of that or heard. Just original stuff. And it's probably his 3rd or 4th special at this point, I would imagine. But Adam Caton Holland, Wallpaper on YouTube. Now go check it out. You'll be glad you did. And check out Those Who Can't.
I love that.
Also very, very good. Good show. Good stuff.
Good stuff, Boo.
Boo, where can we find you on social media?
At KT Low Strandberg.
There you go.
And Boo, anything coming up?
Let's
Down
see.
the pike?
We are on the road as we speak. We took this set with us.
Yeah, we take the whole and Charlie.
If Skippy were to zoom out, you would see the rest of our hotel room.
Yep.
But we take this
that
with
looks
us.
exactly like our home.
We take it with us on the road. That's how committed we are to the show. But no, as you're listening to this, tomorrow you can catch us in Chico, California at Sierra Nevada Big Room. That'll be fun. You're probably going to be doing a spot on that show. And then looking ahead to May, Taos, New Mexico, May 13th. Trinidad, Colorado, May 14th. Denver, May 15th at the Bug Theater. And then May 16th through the 19th, Manitou Comedy Festival in Manitou Springs, Colorado. All those dates available at dumbdavestone.com. And YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're listening,
we're on it
you're
now.
listening and not watching, we are on YouTube. Please like and subscribe and all that. Comment.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Charlie's on it, so that's fun.
We hit triple digits on our subscribers, so that's exciting.
That is exciting.
So, if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, please do so. youtube.com/@the_Stonebergs_podcast.
Well, it's just been a real treat, Boo.
It's been a good time, Boo.
Oh, my gosh. Well, keep it in the ditches, as they say.
Keep it between the ditches.
Whatever.
We want to stay out of the ditches.
But ditches can sometimes be nice. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening.
Don't be projecting shit.
We love you. Bye.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Okay, thank you.